Hello everyone. Well, I've got two batteries that are flashing that they're going flat, so I'm just going to do the best I can at the moment, and we'll get as far into this as we can, and if it shuts off, then I'll try and pick up where I left off on, which I'm not very good at doing, as you know. I forget all of the time. But today, of course, there's Jack. As you can see, him down there just chilling on out. And what I thought I would talk to you about today is, well, I use the word tackling a big snake, but not really in the sense of tackling them, but really how you should really think about how to handle a snake that is much bigger than the likes of a maya and even a seer. You know, both very light snakes in terms of weight, whereas Jack is just a much heavier snake, of course. So it's important to think about the fact that they are heavy and have weight on them, and the support that they will expect you to have. You know, they are relying on you to support them properly. Jack, he's doing okay. He's at, you know, a point where he's digested. He ate a few days ago, so, you know, he's certainly got no rat in there that he's trying to digest, so should be quite comfortable in venturing out today, because I just think this is kind of an important subject, that you understand the difference in handling a much smaller snake. And we're not just talking in length, we're just talking in terms of their weight. You know, when Jack is supporting himself, you know, he relies on himself to do that. And he could do that very well, of course. We humans have to think about it. And, you know, certainly with Jack, I need to use both of my hands. Yes, if I'm outside and I've got a camera in one hand and I'm going over to pick Jack up, I will use one hand, but I know that I'm grabbing him in a good spot, and I'm also using my body, you know, my hip or my leg or something to also support him at the same time. So Jack is very aware that, you know, Mum's got hold of him and I'm not going to let him fall. Now, you know, I'm not saying that their spine is, you know, fragile, but it certainly is something that we need to be very mindful of. That is what they are, is a spine, and they rely on that very much so for life. And we need to take very good care of it. And for us to be flippant about how we pick them up and what we do with them in terms of carrying them, or how we are going to support them, is would be neglectful if you didn't stop and think about it. You know, these guys do not curl up into a little ball. They are very curious, and when you're holding them, Jack is just having a big drink, and it's dark down there, but he's grabbing a drink right now. But it is important for us to let them know that we've got them and we will support them and they're going to be fine, and avoid them getting any spinal damage at all. And it can happen, guys. It really can. You think that if you step on them, maybe, not so much myself because I don't weigh a heap. I mean, I would never want to step on one of my snakes to find out. But I could break their back. You trip and you fall on them. Be very aware of all these sorts of things, and keep your eye out on where your snake happens to be at all times, basically. I'm sure that many a snake has fallen out in the wild and broken its back as well. So yeah, just something that I think we all should be aware of with a bigger snake and the support that they require. And of course Jack is having a massive big drink. He's a big drinker when he does have a drink. I was looking at to getting him out, and I will. So rather than leaving the camera on and waiting for Jack to take his sweet time, which Jack does, Mr. Mellow, cruisy, go at his own pace guy he is, I'll just get him out. I'll keep the camera going, of course, although he may become curious enough that he decides, I'll come out now, I've got a belly full of water. He may not, of course. Like I've said, you can't train a snake to do what you want it to do when you want it to do it. So, you going to come out, buddy? No, he says, I'm wiping my face because it's all wet. And you have to wipe the water off your face. You don't leave water on your face. Gosh, I wish my dogs did that actually. Instead, I get a lap full of wet when especially my big dog has gone in and had a great big slurp of water. Come on, dude. Come on out and say hello. Going to do it? As I said, my battery would just die, but I think I got up to the bit where I said, are you going to come out, or are you just going to lay there and rest your head, buddy? But I really like you to you're right, come on out, hey, because my battery is going to go flat, dude, again, before you make a move. Hey? Come on, dude. No? I'm not doing it, Mum. Not today. Not at this particular point. So, I am going to give him a little poke, I guess is the word, and get him moving. Come on, dude. And come on out. Looks quite comfortable there, actually. My boy. And I mean, even when I get him out, it would be just me kind of saying to you how to support him. And most of you would know how to do this. But I have to remember that not everybody who watches videos about snakes knows all of this type of stuff. Hence why, I'm talking about the handling of snakes and how often and so forth. I think it's important to go back over some of those things that we just know already. Many don't. So I will get Jack moving, I hope, to come on out. So I'll just move you to here, and we will, I kind of have to go from this end. Well, I don't really need to. Are you going to come out? It's not the best position for me to get Jack out from right there, you could say, because he's down and around the back of the log. So I really need him to go back up to the hammock area, and to go in and get him from the hammock I need to go from the other side of the door. And you know, as I said, this battery is flashing too. So yeah, Jack, I will close this door and try and keep that camera in view of Jack a little bit. And of course the light is going to reflect as well. So I will just do the best I can with what you might be seeing at this particular point. So anyway, let's get this boy going, even though he's probably going to head down onto his hide box. And yeah, it would be much easier for me to get him out from his hide box, but yeah. Come on, dude. Back this way for Mum. Can you do that? Come on, dude. Around. Around. That's it. Darling. Oh. And like I said, I've got to give him a fair amount of support, and I'll swing you around at this point. May look a little bit awkward at this particular point for us both, but yeah, it's about giving him lots of support and letting him know that I've got him, that I'm not going to let him fall. Of course, he's not really overly keen to come on out, so I'm going to have to block him from wanting to curl back in, curl back in there. And like I said, sometimes, you know, I don't like to force my snakes to come on out at all, but sometimes, you know, Jack's had a few days peace and quiet in his enclosure, and I've let him be. And I'm not pulling his tail overly hard here. I'm just letting him know I've got him, and he's cool to come on out. And as they get bigger, they get stronger, guys. And unfortunately, you've got to have a few muscles on your own muscles at this stage with big snakes. But it is about reinforcing that, or you've actually got them. I'm not exactly in the best spot for you to see, and it's very hard for me to do a video where I'm standing up and showing you anything. But you know, certainly, you know, him having many areas to grip onto me and feeling comfortable, which Jack should. He knows me very well in his life, and I give him lots of surface area. You know, right now he's got his tail on the poof here that I use. He can feel all the way around me. He can feel my shoulder, and you know, I keep him pretty firm, and I know that he's comfortable with that. And of course, I'm very fortunate that my boy is just so easygoing in his life. Such a beautiful, natured snake that I think, you know, even if I made a bit of a boo-boo, he wouldn't react overly too much about that. So I'm going to, you know, I will stand up at this particular point, and I think I'm still in a little bit of zoom. No, I'm not actually, but it's extremely hard for you to see how I've got a hold of Jack, of course. Okay, see, second battery died. But yes, just giving him lots of surface area for him to actually grip me once he's out, rather than me trying to support him. He's more than capable of doing that for himself, and that is exactly how a snake should be. Once they're out, as you can see, he's just trying to go where he wants to go. But what I'm going to do, guys, is hopefully keep this in view for you, and I'm going to let Jack go on up top here, which is, you know, one of his favourite places to go. And I've actually added a new thing up here, and Jack has spotted it, as you can see. I've got to turn this down so I might be able to see what he's doing. I don't know whether he'll explore that as yet, but he may do that. But spinning you under, Jack, I have made a ability for them to climb from the little hangout spot all the way up to this particular area, rather than like Lily trying to come across on the top of the TV, which, you know, I've got that fluffy snake there to block her from falling down behind the TV. But I feel much better knowing that they've got this particular thing now available for them to get from one side to the other side. And I found that big stick and got it, and I debarked it all, and I washed it and F10'd it all and dried it all out, wrapped some leaves around it. I've hung them on the original hooks that I've used for the original hangout area there, and I've used cable grip, well, what Oki straps we call them here in Australia, Oki straps, also to hold it up and make sure that it's just not going to fall. So it's really quite secure, even for Jack, who, as you know, is a big heavy boy, which may be hard for you to judge by film or by video, but trust me, he is very, very heavy, and I really want to make sure that my snakes are quite safe up there, especially Jack. So, you know, he may later at some stage decide, I'm just trying to lift you up as high, and I've got this on the tripod, so you might be able to see quite well. He may eventually venture across there and go check that out, which I'm sure he will, because carpet pythons, as you know, are so curious about new things. I mean, if that were Lily, she'd have probably scooted on down there by now, being one of my most curious of my snakes. But there you go, guys. Give them lots of surface area on you if you're holding them. That's so important for your bigger snakes. Make them feel secure. I've seen snakes climb onto people's heads, even you know, a ball python, for example, which we know they might be little, but they can be a little bit weighty too. and this snake slipped and bit the owner fair on the side of her face, and that was out of fear, and the snake thought it was going to fall. So yeah, make them feel very, very, very safe when you've got hold of them, secure. Especially, you won't have that problem with them. So guys, thank you for watching. You take care of yourself, your family, your snakes, and all the animals that you have in your life. Ciao.